Hi.
Hi.
Hello,
Yes,
hi guys.
Hi, guys.
I am the only one without Comptrain t-shirt.
Is anyone done one?
So good.
Yes.
This is amazing.
It is really amazing.
Yeah.
So let's start.
Yes, please.
Okay, so my name is Alex. I'm running the page Fit Like Africa on Instagram. So I try to cover all what's happening in Africa about functional fitness and CrossFit. And so I got the opportunity to know those guys. And so I saw how many times they are tagging you about Comptrain. And so it was maybe the opportunity to make a podcast and discuss about CrossFit in Africa and about Comptrain. So, guys, I'll let you introduce you. After we will let Ben introduce himself.
All right.
Cool. I'm Pauline Korukundo. I'm on the safety of team, and
Yes.
I believe I'll be the fittest woman in Uganda this year in the
nice.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Katwijuka. Yeah, athlete, safety of.
Okay.
Nasa is my name. Mokmi Nasa is my name. Mujenyi Mokmi Nasa. I'm an athlete also.
Okay, nice to meet you all. And who else?
I'm Anthony Nansera, an athlete at Safety Off.
Okay.
So glad to be here.
Yes,
Yeah,
me too.
thank you.
Thank you. And then I'll let you introduce yourself. Even I think everybody know you, but you can make it short because I think you have a lot of things to say about yourself.
Yeah. I'm Ben. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, and started CrossFit back in 2007, started Comptrain in 2010. And this is the first time I've chatted with people in Africa that have been doing CrossFit and Comptrain. So this is amazing.
How lucky.
Yes. So cool.
So Ben, I have a first question because how do you feel when you see how Comptrain has been so far? What's your feeling?
This is the honest answer is, when I saw the person that does our social media, forwarded me, a video of you guys doing it, and you guys had tagged Comptrain in it. And my response was, this is the coolest thing I have seen from Comptrain maybe ever. Like it's like a really, really, really cool thing. You guys doing the clean and jerks and the run. I forget what the workout was, but it was like clean and jerks and running. And to see that this community, this thing that we're building, this tribe, it extends way past what we're doing here. And I think everyone that does it knows like how cool it is, both in terms of like the workouts, but also what happens to people as a group of people beyond the workouts. You can be fittest in Uganda, but that's what we also get is, Uruguay, Uganda, sorry. But this other thing that like, we get to like, it brings people together. And the fact that it can bring people across an ocean together like this is so cool.
Yeah. Because also, you know me, I'm living in Morocco, and I think I discovered Comptrain. It was maybe 1 year after I started CrossFit, and also I discovered your podcast with Patrick.
Cool. Yeah.
And maybe you was one of the reasons I became coach.
Love
so it was maybe Comptrain have a big. I don't know if you realize the impact you have over here, but I know many people they improve their fitness through your podcast and through Comptrain, and so that's why I think this podcast is making sense, because in same time we are very happy to discuss with you, and in the same time, it's good for you to know what is happening here.
Yeah, it's really, I went to, I think it was 2019. I went to South Africa because they did they're calling it, sanctionals at that time.
Yes,
yeah. Fittest in Cape Town. So I went there for that. So I've only been to South Africa, and I've been to Tunisia before, but I've never been to anywhere else in Africa. So maybe hopefully sometime in the near future, I can come over and visit you guys.
Yes, I hope so.
Uganda and Morocco. Yeah.
So do you have any question? Do you have any question for Ben?
Well,
don't be shy. Take the opportunity.
I would love to first interact and
yes, it's definitely the first time we're getting to meet both of you, so it's exciting. And yeah, we really love the Comptrain workouts. We started Comptrain in 2018 with one of our athletes, Derek Mwanje. And yeah, so the rest of us have gone on to follow the programming, and we love it. Yeah, we really hope that as we advance, we'll get more people to join the team, more athletes, have some of our team become maybe level 1 coaches. Yeah, things like that.
So cool.
I don't know.
How many people do you guys have? How many people do you guys have on your team? How many people train with you guys?
About 12 right now. Yeah,
so great.
Sadly only one lady. Yeah, but we're 12.
Okay. And how did you discover Comptrain?
I don't know if Derek Mwanje was sponsored by Comptrain because he used to follow the programming. So when we joined him, we just got onto the bandwagon. Yeah. I think Derek was a Comptrain athlete while he was in Uganda. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Ben, I just want to give you the situation in Africa about CrossFit and functional fitness. I think we are at the very beginning of this sport. It's not like in the US. Just to give you an idea, for example, we have in all Africa, we have 180 affiliates only in all Africa. I think in the US, you have at something 5,000. It's something like that.
A lot more than that. We have, I have 300 athletes at my gym.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's lots and lots and lots of people that do that. Yeah.
But I think about affiliates, CrossFit affiliates in USA, something like 5,000, is it?
Oh, for affiliates. Yeah. They're saying athletes. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah. Probably around 5,000.
Okay. It's about Africa, it's 180.
Got it. Okay. 100 athletes, affiliates. I thought you were saying athletes.
Yes. No, affiliates.
Oh, that's, yeah. Where are most of them?
Most of them are in South Africa. It's about 140 in South Africa.
Oh, okay. So we got to get it elsewhere. We got to get more places doing it.
Yeah. And so now I think we are at the beginning, and I would like to ask you, what is your advice to develop young athletes when you are at the beginning, and even we have already some experience in another country? It's not like in the beginning in USA, because it was really the beginning. Nobody know about the sport, and you start to develop it during the last years. But which advice you can give us to maybe to push forward our athletes?
Yeah, well, to get more people involved, the best thing that any sport can do is make it as accessible as possible. And what can be intimidating is somebody walks in and wants to work out with you guys, and it's all, overhead squats and bar muscle ups. And they're like, well, I can't do that at all. But if you think of a sport like soccer, one of the reasons soccer is as popular as it is because everybody can play soccer on the very, very first day. And if we make our sport as simple as possible, so as many people can do it on day one, that's going to make them feel like I can do this. And anybody that's done any sport wants to be good at it. And if you feel like, oh, this is something I can actually do, you're more likely to stick with it. So in terms of participation, yes, it's important that we teach people how to do cleans and snatches and muscle ups and these more advanced movements, but we don't need to do that early on. In the beginning, let's just get people feeling good about working hard. And you can get people feeling good about working hard just by running, air squats, and burpees. And everybody can do that. And if we do that on day one, then they'll come back for day two. And if we rinse, wash, and do that over and over again, then eventually we'll get them up to the more complex movements. But we don't want to put something above where they are. In terms of the sport of it, it's kind of the opposite. It's not necessarily jumping in, but you want to show that there's competition. And that's what a lot of people love, is they love to compete. So in the beginning, it's just like, hey, you can do this. Make sure that they can participate in the sport. But then we also want them to get into this, like, it is a sport and we do want to be able to compete. There is a leaderboard. It's different than just working out, which is what a lot of people do for exercise. We're racing and there's a scoreboard, and that's really motivating for a lot of people. It gets people really excited. So the kind of two-faced approach is make it accessible and simple, but then when it's the right time, let's crank up the competitive aspect of this thing.
Yes, thank you for the answer. Any question, maybe?
There's a situation, especially with the movements, the standard of the movement.
Yeah.
So Comptrain has an application, which application, I don't know, for some reason it does not run in our country.
It's not working in your country. So
yeah, it does. It does. My colleague just told me it is a payable. It's for payment.
Yeah.
However, we are limited to that access, and yet we, as an upcoming CrossFit community, would really wish to have the knowledge and to know the standard of coaching, especially the fact that we do not have a physical coach around our community.
Yeah.
So our request to the Comptrain community and to you would be considering to give us as much information as you possibly could help us avail to us to push out to our community. And yeah, so
how do you guys get it? How do you guys get Comptrain now? Do you guys get it on the web, or do you guys get it on an app?
Instagram.
So right now we use the
Yeah.
Instagram and the web through the Comptrain gym. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, I will. I'll make sure that you guys have full access to everything we do, and you guys won't have to worry about the financial side of things. We'll make sure, totally taken care of. Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
Just another question. Is there access to the courses, the coaching, the trainers programs that Comptrain has? Are there programs that train coaches on different levels that we could maybe sign up to and
Yeah, so we are do you guys have access to an app? Can you guys, if I gave you guys access to an app, would you guys be able to get into it?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I will I'll do that for you guys. And in the app, there's a thing called, and it's not out yet, we're building it right now, but it will be out in June, called the Comptrain University. So there's really two parts of Comptrain. There's Comptrain Gym, which is how to run classes and be a better coach and a better leader. Then there's Comptrain, which is for individual athletes.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give you access to both those things. So Comptrain Gym will help you guys run classes and be better coaches. but also on the Comptrain app, there's a thing called Comptrain University, which is a whole library of resources, both video and articles and text that you guys can dive into to become better, more knowledgeable and better understand the sport.
That's cool.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So make sure you guys send me an email. Let's just do it through email. It's so much better than Instagram. But if we do an email, we'll make sure that we get you guys all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have a question about what I was telling to develop the sport. Now the question is more about to get elite athletes, because I don't know if you saw the result about it was about maybe about the quarterfinal. If you check the result for quarterfinal in Africa, we are at the bottom. Okay, the sport's still young, and that is not the question. Okay, we need to develop for sure. But I feel like because you see when you have the teen athletes, you have some teen athletes, and there is a gap between. There is like how can I explain? The number of teen athletes are not the one going after in elite. When you are teen and going to elite, finally you see there is only few athletes from teens performing in elite. It's really clear. You have only few people from teens going to elite finally. And I think I feel like it's the same in Africa. We have some athletes with good level, but after going after the cap to go in really high level, like elite athletes, I feel there is something missing. Maybe we miss something, and I don't know what it is exactly. And can you tell us? We need maybe more training, or we need I don't know.
I don't know, because I don't know where your fitness is, and but basically it comes down to three things. So it comes down to your strength. Are you strong? So what you want to do is like kind of measure up like where are strength numbers versus the high level strength guys, and we got to figure out if there's a big gap between those two. Then there's skills, which is things like muscle ups and handstand push-ups and walking on our hands and double under crosses and stuff like that. And it's, do we have a gap there? And then the third one is just conditioning, which is like the work capacity. So what we want to be able to do is try to figure out where is the gaps in any of those three. And if you figure out that you're really, really fit, like you can row a 6:30 2K and you can run a 5-minute mile and you can do a 2:20 Fran, well, it's probably not conditioning. And maybe it's that your clean and jerk is only 225, but it needs to be 305. And okay, then we need to kind of like lean into the strength part a little bit. Or maybe it's our strength is good, our conditioning is good, but where we can only do 6 or 7 unbroken muscle ups. And to get that next level, we need to be able to do 14, 15, or 16. So you just kind of figure out for the level I want to be at, what are the norms for that level? So if we're trying to get to semifinals, what do we need to be able to do to get to semifinals? And if we're a guy, an individual, you really need to be able to clean and jerk 330 pounds. That's a lot. Do you guys use pounds or kilos?
Kilos.
Okay. So I don't know, whatever that is. I'm not good at
150 kilos.
Oh, look at you. That's so fast. Okay. All right. So 150. So if you want to be a semifinal athlete, you need to be able to clean and jerk 150 kilos. You need to be able to do about 18 unbroken muscle ups. And you need to be able to row a 2,000 meters in about 6:45. So it gives you kind of this idea of like, how far are we away from any of those things? And then just kind of make sure you bring up those weakest links. And that's how you bring up yourself, your gym, your community, your country, your continent.
Yeah.
But having said that, if you follow something like Comptrain, all those things are going to come up. And then you go like, well, if we're doing this, it's not coming up. Then maybe it's the coaching, right? Maybe we don't have the coaching to help work on the right positions, or the technique, or something else, the right strategies for the workouts. So if that's the case, we give lots of notes in the workouts on the app as well. So when you guys get the app, make sure you guys dive into those things as well. If you have questions, like, shoot them over to me and I'll help you out.
Sure. Sure.
Very cool. So now, just a question. Since when you start to send athletes to the CrossFit game?
When did I start?
Yes, when it started for you?
2009.
2009, it was your first athlete.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I was there as well. Way back when.
You was
I was
as well.
on a team. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'd love to come there sometime.
Say
Sorry?
again?
We'd love to come there sometime. We'd love to come.
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
that'd be amazing. Get you guys to the CrossFit Games. It's
Sure.
it's very, very cool.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We look forward to that. The other question would be, is it possible for us to have maybe a partner in your gym who looks up our progress on technique, and help us craft the best technique around our movements, so that we know we are progressing in the right direction, and we are building strength, more whatever it is that we're training for, within a particular time.
So we won't be able to do that on a really consistent basis. But if you guys send in videos, then what we'll do is we'll review those videos, and not only give them to you, but we'll post them on our Instagram channel, and we'll give everyone the feedback. That's what we want to start to do anyway. So send us you guys doing some Olympic lifts, send us you guys doing some muscle ups, or send us you doing a full workout, like one person doing a full workout, and we can give you guys feedback on the whole thing. Now, we're not gonna be able to do that every single day, but every couple of weeks, yeah, we could certainly do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
How are you organizing in your box about coaching? You have you are the head coach, and after that you have a coach specialized in weightlifting, gymnastic, or your coach are general, and you share the task between all the team.
We have CrossFit coaches, so we don't have any specialty coaches on our staff, but we have coaches that have experience in them. So one of our coaches, Tori, who you guys might have seen, she was a gymnast growing up, so she was a gymnast through college. We have Jarrett on our team, who's both a weightlifter and an endurance runner. I was a triathlete. So we do have people in different specialties, but no one's this actual this is my coaching specialty. We want CrossFit coaches because that's what our sport is.
Okay. Another question?
Yeah, I think I'm on it. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Ben, for all this, and Alex. My question is about how to increase awareness of CrossFit around, I would say, Uganda, because right now I think we only have one affiliated gym. I hope in future we can also reach that level as safety of, because we're not yet an affiliate to CrossFit. So for me, I'm mainly comparing CrossFit with the running communities in Uganda, because right now the running communities have really gained a lot of momentum in terms of how people get into these groups. They have private events where we have maybe hundreds of people, even guys who fly into the country to attend some of those events. And I'm wondering, what advice would you give to us to increase the awareness in the country, and also tap into the guys who are not yet or are in other sports to get into functional fitness and CrossFit? Because personally, I used to do, I would say, long distance running, but I believe there is a lot of potential that CrossFit, as a young sport in Uganda, can be able to pick from other sport, and maybe the advice that you are about to give us. And I think we really have a lot of opportunity right here in terms of young people who can join the sport, but we still believe we are still having challenges with, of course, equipment, awareness, and of course, location of the gym, because we have many people who, some people who are interested, but of course, of our location, that limits us. That's why you hear we still have a few athletes. So what advice would you give?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's not an easy answer, but it's probably the most realistic. Is people want to follow other people that have been successful. So my guess is the running community is popular in Uganda because there's been successful runners that have come out of Uganda. And when you look at a country like Iceland is, CrossFit is incredibly popular and incredibly successful, but it's because it's a very small country with 300,000 people that has had multiple CrossFit Games champions. So they look at, they go, oh, I could do that. Someone from here has done that. I can do that. So it's not an easy short fix answer, but by proving that somebody from your community can go and be successful, other people will follow that lead. Honestly, it's the real thing. It's the reason that certain countries have legacy sports, is because this is what we do. We can do this to be successful. So, it's up to the four of you guys to get really, really fit and go win the CrossFit Games.
The question is very interesting, and the answer also, because before we got 1 year, we got the national champ at the CrossFit Game. And despite what many people were saying, it was a good ambassador of this sport in any country. And because I remember in Morocco when the Moroccan people went to the CrossFit Game, that gave really a push on the CrossFit community. We saw a lot of people on the same year coming to CrossFit because we got those model going there. And unfortunately, they stopped that. And I'm totally agree with you about the fact when somebody succeed in a sport, that push the other people just behind. It's like it's the same in soccer in Europe. Yes. In soccer. Yep. A lot of African people want to play soccer because we have a lot of African people going to play in Europe and are very successful.
Yep.
And all the sport is the same. And I don't know if you have followed the World Cup. Morocco went very far this year, and that has been a big impact on the young. So of course, it's the same. Yes.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. So you take like a country like Croatia in Europe, right? And it's this tiny little country of 3 million people, and they do incredible in the World Cup. Well, then every kid growing up goes, oh my God, I can do that. I could be on that stage. And it becomes a part of their journey and what they do. It's success breeds success. So and it even is more magnified in smaller countries than it is in bigger ones, because in our country, if someone wins the CrossFit Games, there's not a lot of media about it, because
No
people were talking about football and basketball and hockey and baseball and all these movie stars and all the rest. CrossFit's like this big. But again, like in a country like Iceland, when Andy Thor's daughter won the games, she came back and she was like a celebrity in the country. And all the other girls went, oh my God, someone from Iceland won the CrossFit games. She's on the news and she's in all these magazines. Like, I could go do that. So it really is like success, but then also getting the local media to highlight that success and tell the stories to the community.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see, for example, in Africa, you have this difference of people practicing CrossFit. You have more people in South Africa because of Jason Smith. Jason Smith, who went multiple times in CrossFit Games, that was an impact. And you see now you have 140 affiliates there, and on the 40 on the rest of the country. It's clear there is a big impact on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other part of it is like, which we should just talk, is like, it's an expensive sport. You know, it's like there's a barrier to entry. So unlike soccer, where it's like, if you have a ball, you can get 22 players to go on a field and play with one ball. You need one ball and some dirt, and you get 22 people to play. Well, in our sport, if you have 22 people, you need 22 barbells, 22 spots on a rig, 22 wall balls, 22 boxes. It's like, it gets expensive. So that's why I was saying also in the beginning, if you want to grow the sport, make it as accessible as possible. It doesn't need to be all of the equipment. You can get really fit and do our sport with burpees, running, jumping, you know, some really simple stuff. So make it like as accessible as possible. That's why I'm so impressed with you guys, and what, you know, I see your stuff on Instagram. It's like, it looks so cool. Like, you guys look like you have an awesome place to train. I love it.
100%, the best place.
Yeah. And you see that about this point, it's a very expensive sport, but in same time, I think when you check the salary of the top athletes compared to the effort they are doing and the other sports, it's a very low salary. And it's a very expensive sport to come in, but finally the outcome about salary is not huge. And when you see the effort you have to produce to reach the top level and expect salary, I think in any sport, if you do the same effort, you will at least get the double, at least.
Yeah, well, it depends on the sport. So CrossFit's still not a major sport. It's still not mainstream. It's not soccer. It's not football, basketball, baseball. It's not one of those sports. It's more like BMX biking, right? And if you want to be a world-class BMX biker, you're not going to make a ton of money. It's not golf. It's not tennis. It's more like, it's not even UFC, but it's probably closer to the UFC. And the UFC, like, if you're a top 5 to 10 guy, you make a lot of money. But if you're outside the top 10, you don't make it much of anything. There's very, very, very little money in that. And that's kind of what our sport is. Like, outside the top 10 in the world, there's not much earnings. There's probably really decent earnings up to about the top 30 or 40. But if you're outside the top 40 in the world, it's really zero. There's no money. There's really, really, really small endorsement deals, and you can go and win some local competitions. We had a guy on that did Comptrain for a long time named Oldest. He was at the CrossFit Games, and he used to just go around to all these local competitions and win $1,000 here, win $500 here, win 1,000, and he did every weekend, and that's how he earned income. Is he was a super fit guy at the CrossFit Games, but he wasn't making any money at the CrossFit Games, and no one was sponsoring him. So he just went around to all the local competitions and won a few $100s everywhere. So that few $100s is nothing compared to a professional soccer player who's making millions and millions. It's just that it's the nature of the sport. It's still young. It's still not mainstream. And will it get there? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. We've been kind of where it is for the last 6 years or so. So I think for it to get to that next level, we need to probably something needs to change in terms of like the way they broadcast it, because that's where all the money comes from, is TV. You know, like whether it's Formula One racing or it's TV or ticket sales, right? So if we get this thing on like a mainstream, you know, a really high level media thing, then I think that there would be more earnings for all the athletes.
What can make you this sport become something where the mainstream are interested? What do you think we can change on the for example, on the CrossFit game broadcast to make it more spectacular, maybe more, I don't know, to get, yeah.
Yeah, I would, so I would change two things. The first one is leading up to the games. One of the challenges is there's really only one weekend where this thing has a really big competition, one weekend a year. Whereas almost all World Cup, I don't even know how many, like there's, you know, qualifying matches, and then there's the tournament, and it's once every 4 years. So there's a lot of excitement, but there's also English Premier League, and the English Premier League, if they play games every week for months and months and months, we don't have that. So we have to figure out a way to tell the story. It can't just be one weekend every single year, because there's no, like, who are you rooting for? If you have to know the story coming in. So I think you can do that by either creating a season, which they tried, or you do what some other sports have done really well, which is you create a lot of media around it and just tell the stories. Like Formula One, race car driving, has done it with this show called Drive to Survive. And it's amazing. It tells these amazing stories. And then golf is doing it with a show called Full Swing. And you get to see all of the players on the PGA Tour behind the scenes. And then tennis is doing it with called Break Point. CrossFit should be doing something like that. And then on the actual weekend, the sport is a race, and it's a fascinating race, yet they don't show it like a race. They show one athlete at a time, like one athlete, and you don't see anybody else. And they're like, well, in lane 6, like the person just took the lead. It's like, well, we don't get to see that. It's crazy. So if you watch any other sport, like watch soccer, they show you half of the field at a time, because you want to be able to see what's going on. And then every now and then they'll go to a really tight camera angle just for 3 seconds, and they'll pull back. Our sport's the opposite. We're just zoomed in on one player for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll go for 6 seconds to the whole field, and we'll come back in on another player. And that's not really that exciting to watch.
I think it's very important point to develop this sport. And you know, there is also the point about there is no. You was talking about the storytelling, and on each sport we have the rivalry between club, or you know, you are coming from Boston, so you are the rivalry of the Lakers. So,
yes.
And on Europe you have Madrid against Barcelona, and I think that is making something on the sport that people want to see and want to watch. And I don't feel that unfortunately on the games.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's just part of the lack of storytelling. And I think it's you know, CrossFit's had its fair share of ups and downs over the last handful of years, with a change of ownerships, and what are we doing with media? Are we a media company? Are we outsourcing all the media? So I hopefully it all settles, and they either recognize that this is a thing that they need to invest in or should invest in, or hand it off to somebody else that wants to build the sport. You know, there's plenty of examples of sports being sold off. Formula One's one of those examples. A media group bought Formula One. They created Drive to Survive, and the sport exploded, right? At least in the US. It was always popular everywhere else. But if CrossFit's not interested in expanding it, then I think that they should hand it off to somebody else that is.
Yeah.
Because it's such a cool sport. It's such an amazing, being at the games is so awesome. It's an amazing spectacle, and it's the pinnacle of human performance. Like, it is the fittest people that have ever been on planet Earth, like ever. Like, it's an incredible feat what these guys are doing, and it deserves to be showcased.
Yeah.
Do you look forward to having this kind of talk with those CrossFit associations, so we can have one broadcasting media to bring out such content and make such stories, so we can promote the sport?
Yeah. Did you ask, would I like to talk to HQ about that? Yeah, we'd love to. Yeah. I feel like I have good ideas.
You'd feel that. Surely.
Did you talk to them already about that, or?
I haven't.
No?
Yeah. I've talked to a few people, but I don't think it's gotten to the people that can make the decisions.
Yeah. Okay, just before to finish, can you talk to us quickly about the 5 factors?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 5 factors are the 5 pillars, or the 5 behaviors, the big major behaviors that we can put into place to create the best health possible. And what most people talk about when they talk about health, it's about, like the word health care in the United States is about treating sick people. It's about medicine. It's about operations. It's about patients that need their lives saved. Well, the 5 factors are things that we can do to mitigate putting ourselves in that situation. And they are how you eat, how you sleep, how you train, how you think, and how you connect with other people.
Yeah. Maybe more details about each point?
You got it. So you say quickly, so I try to do it quickly. Okay. So, all right. So really quickly is how you eat. The biggest point there is to eat real food. And I'm not sure what it's like in Morocco or Uganda, but in the United States, the norm is not real food. It's processed food, which is stuff that was made in a lab, not grown out of the ground or was roaming the earth. Real food is the way our hunter-gatherers would eat. So it's alive. It doesn't have a shelf life. That is what we were for hundreds of thousands of years. That's the way our bodies have evolved to eat. We need to be able to make sure we're eating real food. So that's the first one. The next one is sleep. Sleep comes down to 3 factors. It's quality, quantity, and consistency. Really simple. The quantity is we need to be sleeping at least 7 hours. Important thing to recognize there is most of us are awake during the night. So it's not like lights out to lights on. It's really sleeping for 7 hours. So most of us probably need to be in bed for an hour longer than that. So you really should strive for 8 to 10, knowing that you'll probably end up with 7 to 9. That's the quantity. The quality has to do with putting good practice into place. So your sleep hygiene is as good as possible, meaning things like sleep in a dark room, sleep in a cool environment, have some soft noise in the background so no immediate noises wake you up. If it helps, use a sleep mask, all those types of things. And then the consistency is going to bed and waking up within a half hour of the same time every day. Our bodies are always trying to, every cell on our body is trying to adjust its circadian rhythm to systemize when should I be releasing certain hormones, from adrenaline and cortisol to human growth hormone to melatonin. All of these things are dictated by our circadian rhythm, trying to be in tune with the time of day. And the best thing we can do is sleep and wake within a half hour each day. So that's eat, sleep, train, do Comptrain. What you guys are doing. But really what it is making sure that you're combining weightlifting, body weight, and cardio stuff. And you're doing it you're working hard. That's really what it comes down to. And if you're doing that and bring yourself through a full range of motion, you're probably like 95% of the way there. So that's why we want to make sure we're getting like full extension, not like overhead like this, like full ranges of motion, that we're moving large weights, large distances quickly, producing power. Power is equal to intensity. Intensity is equal to results. So the more power you produce, the heavier you go, the farther you go, the more reps you do, the more power you produce, the more intensity there is, the more intensity, the fitter you get. So that's the train one. That's the train one. Eat, sleep, train. Think is, this one's evolved for me a lot over the years, but really, people start off with like, okay, mental toughness. And that's not a bad place to start. That's really about like discipline, grit. If you fall down, get back up. But really what it comes down to in terms of the think category is letting go of the desire to judge. We so badly want to judge everything. Was that a good workout or a bad workout? Is it good weather out? Is it bad weather out? Is every event that we're happening good or bad, good or bad? And then you get to the point of like, I'm judging myself. Like, am I enough? Am I doing what I should be doing with my life? I'm judging my preparation for the future. I'm judging my behaviors in the past. I'm judging my spouse and whether they're the right fit for me. It's like, if you can just step back from all and let go of the judgment, we're probably doing a pretty good job of the think category. And the last one is connect. And that is connecting with yourself, connecting with others, and connecting with nature. So each of those very quickly. Connecting with yourself comes down to awareness. Do I have awareness over the things that trigger me? Do I have awareness of my passion and my purpose in life and my values? Understanding those things is really important for your health. This isn't just like living the good life. This is your health. Understanding what those things are. Then from there, it comes down to others. There's a lot of people that say that the number one factor that correlates to longevity is the strength of your relationships. So having really good relationships with other people is hugely, hugely important. It's an incredible mitigator, meaning it either lowers, or exaggerator, meaning it exaggerates stress. And stress tears your body apart. So if you have really good relationships, the other stress in your life comes down. If you have really bad relationships, the stress in your life goes way, way up. That's really important. So then the third category is connect with you, others, and nature. And, in the United States, we go from our homes to our cars, to our offices, to our gyms, back into our cars, back into our homes. It's sad, but we're very rarely outside. And if we live in a city, even if we are outside, we're very rarely around trees or grass. And this sounds kind of like foo-foo-y, but there is real energy that nature gives off that will improve your health. A really cool example of that is there was this housing project, meaning like really kind of like where poor people would live in Chicago. And one side of the housing project faced the parking lot. The other side of the housing project faced the woods, the forest, the trees. And they went back and studied these people a couple decades later. And what they found was the group of people that faced the woods were more successful and happier than the people that faced the parking lot. It's like being out in the world, when I've traveled to Cape Town, this didn't seem like a challenge for you guys, at least in that part of Africa. And a lot of the other places I've traveled in the world, they do such a better job of this than we do in the United States. But those are the 5 factors: how you eat, how you sleep, how you train, how you think, and how you connect.
Thank you very much, Ben.
So much.
If you have not another question, I think we can let you go, because I know you are a very busy guy.
I always have time for you guys, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Maybe Alex, when will the next FLA championships be?
I will try to do. I don't know when, but I will try to do it maybe next year, maybe more organized. Because I was trying, just to come to you, Ben, I was trying to make a throwdown competition here, and but I didn't get enough subscription, because I think the period was not at the good moment, because it's very difficult to put a competition during the CrossFit season. So we have to make it outside. But unfortunately, outside in Morocco is a winter. So I wanted to make it during this period to get the swimming pool event. But I will try to reorganize that for the next year.
Well, let me know when that is. Maybe I'll try and get over for that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can Comptrain can help support it. Maybe we'll do the programming for it or something.
Okay, I will. We keep in touch, and we'll try to do something together. We, of course.
Very cool.
Yeah,
yes, I'm gonna do a picture. I'm gonna do a picture of us.
Yes.
Okay, one more. Ready? Awesome, guys. Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, guys. Awesome.
Keep
going, guys. Stay strong. Keep working.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Today is one of my CrossFit thing I want to do since long time, talking with Ben Bergeron. So
I love it.
Yeah. It's good.
Very good. Awesome to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. We keep in touch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.